Hello students, Standard 6th revision in the physics chapter number 11, light, shadows and reflections. As we know that light is a very important thing in our life, because without light, if it is completely dark, we cannot see anything around us. So when there is a light, then we are able to see the objects, beautiful things around us. And we learned that the objects which emit their own lights, they produce their own lights, are known as the luminous objects. So when luminous objects produce their own light, we can see them. And others are the non-luminous objects which do not have their own light. They do not produce their own light. But the light from the luminous objects fall on them, and then it bounces back and enter our eye. Then we are able to see the objects. Then we learn about the three types of objects, like transparent, translucent and opaque substances, opaque objects. Now we are going to learn about what is the shadow. You go in the sunlight and then you will be able to see the black patches either in front of you or at your back side. Means it will be on the opposite side of the sun. If sun is in front of you, you will get the dark patches on the road behind you. If the sun is on your left side, you will get that dark patches on your right side. So these dark patches are the shadows of the object. So when generally we know that the rays of light are passing from the air. Now, air is transparent, so it allows the light to pass through it. So we cannot see the shadow of it. But when any object which is opaque object, that come in the way of sunlight or any light, then what happens? From that part, the light cannot pass, and therefore that part will be looking at the dark patches either on the screen. Screen means like a piece of paper, cardboard or a wall on which the shadows are found. So when we put any opaque objects in the sunlight, and then you will see that you will get that shadow of that object. Now sometimes you will see that you can identify the objects from its shadow, because sometimes the shadow is so nicely formed such that we can guess which object is that. But not always. Sometimes it can mislead you also, because it depends how the light is falling on that object. Because when the object is, the light is exactly on the side, then your shadow will be of the same shape. For example, you can see that here, you can understand that maybe it is the shadow of a tree. But about this object, can you identify? It is just giving you the shape. Because sometimes the way of light is such that the shadow will be either a round or a square. In this situation, we won't be able to understand about the object. Now, how can we see that shadow? For shadow, first of all, we need a source of light. Then, what else we need? We need an opaque object. And third required thing is the screen. If you have a dark room, and then if you enter that room and either you can take a lighted candle and put it on one side, and then if you stand in front of that candle, then if you see behind you on the wall or on the floor, you will be able to see your shadow. Generally, shadow can be found in light, but if you want to see it properly, then the surrounding area must be dark, so that you will be able to see properly the shadow of the objects. Now, here you can see that activity, you can do it yourself also. This is an activity that you will have to do in the dark. In the evening, go out in open ground with a few friends. Take a torch and large sheet of cardboard with you. Hold the torch close to the ground and shine it upwards so that the light falls on your friend's face. You now have a source of light that is falling on an opaque object. Now, if there were no trees, building, any other object, then would you see the shadow of your friend's hand? No. In this situation, you won't be able to see the shadow of your friend. Why? Because you are holding the light from the ground and then it goes upward direction and there is no screen there. But if there is a screen behind it, or you can tell another friend to hold that piece of cardboard behind that friend, and then you will see that the shadow will be observed as shown in the figure here. You can see that here somebody is standing behind with a cardboard, then you can see that shadow of that person will be found. But if you will not standing there with the cardboard, then what will happen? You will not be able to see the shadow. Shadow is there, but there is no screen that can show you the shadow. Now, with the shadow, with the helping shadow, you can make different shapes of different animals. By folding your both hands and the fingers in such a way that when the shadow of your hands fall on the screen, it will look like some animals. You can see here in the picture also. But you have to do it in the dark room. And then on the screen, you can see that you can make an object like a camel or the bird or other animals. So when you look at the shadow, then it looks like particular animal. And you won't believe that it is not the animal, but actually it is because of the hands. So you can do that yourself also. You have to switch off the light, close the door and windows, and you can light a candle. And then between the wall and candle you can stand and you can do that things. So you can make that different shadows as I showed you on the book. So as I told you, sometimes the shadow will give you an exact shape, so you will be able to understand, but sometimes the shadow can be of a different shape also. Suppose you are standing outside in the afternoon time, when sun is exactly on your, above your head or little, then there will be only a round circle behind you. Similarly, it depends that from which side the light is coming, falling on that object, and which part is in front of the light, and according to that you will get the shadow of the object. Now, have you ever observed that color of the shadow? If you take a green, red flower, blue clothes, a person wearing blue clothes or different colors, so the color of the shadow cannot be same as the color of the object. Shadow is always be the dark, means the black color. So it does not depend on the color of the object. And shadow of different things will be different. Different shape, different size, but color will be same, because there is no color of the object, because the light does not fall there, so it looks dark, and therefore the color will be very dark only. Now, if you hold any transparent objects, generally you won't get the shadow, and therefore the shadow of air we cannot see anywhere. Similarly, translucent objects, we can get the shadow of the translucent, but that will be not too much dark. It will be little lighter than the shadow of the opaque objects, because opaque objects does not allow the light to pass through, and therefore its shadow will be very black, dark colored. Now we have to learn about a pinhole camera. What is actually a pinhole camera? You can easily make this device, the device which forms a photograph like image of a bright object on a screen, is called pinhole camera. It means it forms a photograph like image on the screen of a lighted object, and easily you can make this pinhole camera using the empty boxes, like the boxes of the shoes that you buy and something like that. In that you need two boxes, one little bigger and the other little smaller so that it can enter in the bigger one. And then you have to do like that shown in the picture here. I will send you in the PDF file also how to make a pinhole camera. So you will be able to make your own pinhole camera, in which we have to make a hole on one of the side, and on one of the other box, same side, we have to make a square gap cut out, and then by adjusting that, allow the light to pass through that hole, and then it can give you the image of the objects on the screen behind, and that will be upside down. The the image of that object will be on the screen, and which will be upside down. It means that it will not be the erect but the upside down inverted image you will find. And here color also will be seen, because it will not be like dark. So by this way you can understand about the image is formed by the pinhole camera. Here we are going to finish today's session. It will be followed by the PDF with some question answers, and any query write down in the comment section. Thank you very much.